That's not a theory. That's not speculation. That's what happened 3 weeks ago. And it changed everything. An audio engineer named Janetta Brantley, sitting at her desk in Texas, with professional software and 16 years of experience, took a 37-second CTO call, the one you've probably heard already, the garbled one, the one investigators said showed nothing suspicious. She cleaned it up, and what she heard made her spend 9 hours. 9 hours isolating every voice, every word, every background sound that was there all along. What she released sent shockwaves through social media, through news outlets, through the family's legal team, and it forced a question that law enforcement never answered. If the friends say Nolan stayed on the island, if they say he was alive and happy when they left, then why does the enhanced audio from their distress call, the call they made while their boat was sinking, why does it allegedly contain voices mentioning his name, voices that sound panicked, voices that weren't supposed to be there? This is not a story about what happened to Nolan Wells. You already know that timeline. July 4th, Horn Island, 3 friends, a boat trip, a young man who never came home. This is the story of what happens when the official narrative, the one that says accidental drowning, the one that says no foul play, runs headfirst into digital evidence that refuses to disappear. And it's the story of everyday people, with skills, with technology, with a refusal to accept easy answers, doing the work that someone should have done from the beginning. Notice this. Wells's family expressed concern because his friends kept the teen's cell phone after he went missing. The 18-year-old was reportedly very active on social media, and they believe some of his messages were deleted. His phone. Not with his family. Not with investigators initially, with the friends who came back without him. His mother discovered suspicious gaps in his phone's records. Gaps. Data missing. Messages that should be there, but aren't. And that's where Janetta Brantley enters this story. She's not a detective. She's not law enforcement. Brantley has 16 years of experience in sound and audio engineering and holds a bachelor's degree in music production from Full Sail University. She's worked on series and films for Amazon Prime Video, Max, Hulu, Peacock, in addition to projects for WeTV, Snapchat, T-Mobile, Tubi, and Investigation Discovery. She knows how to make voices clear, how to isolate frequencies, how to reveal what's hidden beneath static, and wind, and water. And when the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources released that sea-tow call, the one from July 4th, around 4 p.m., when one of the friends reported their boat was sinking, she listened, and she heard something.
When I first listened to it, I realized that it was like a dual mono recording, which most, most phone services or operators utilize when they're recording conversations. And so it was already split between the caller, the dispatch, and the callers in the background. And so that's what made it easy for me to isolate it without having to do much to it. So that isolation, when I separated the left channel from the right channel, that just made me be able to really focus on everything that was on the call. And then what I was hearing was I honestly could not believe what I was hearing.
Miss Janetta Brantley, isn't it true this is the same audio that was released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources?
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Let's listen to it one more time.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership. Oh, let the up! What'd you say? It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know. We're going down now. I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that. Everybody goes on this phone. I know we have a membership, guaranteed. I don't have the tag on here. It got ripped off. What? No, we do not need that.
Something that made her think, wait, there's more here. She told Atlanta Black Star she spent 9 hours isolating voices in the clip, which captured a group reporting their boat was taking on water near Horn Island on July 4th. 9 hours. Think about that. Not a quick pass. Not running it through an AI filter. Not letting software guess what might be there. She used Logic Pro X, Pro Tools, Adobe Audition and Cubase to clarify the recording. She avoided artificial intelligence because it can introduce sounds that were never present. Traditional techniques, manual isolation, layer by layer, voice by voice. And what she says she found, what thousands of people have now listened to, what's been played on Nancy Grace's show, what's been shared millions of times across TikTok. Background statements, including voices allegedly mentioning Nolan by name, and other phrases she believes raise additional questions about what happened aboard the boat. His name, allegedly in the background, during a call, when according to the official story, Nolan wasn't supposed to be anywhere near that boat. He was supposed to be on the island, talking to a girl named Katie. Happy, safe, planning to catch another ride back. So why would his name be in that audio? That's the question. Her enhancements circulated widely online, and intensified questions about Wells's final hours. But here's where it gets more complicated. Her enhanced version of the Nolan Wells audio has been played on Nancy Grace and referenced in several news publications, but Brantley said no public official has reached out to her. No one. Not the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. Not the FBI. Not the district attorney. She did work that she says reveals critical evidence, and the people investigating this case, the ones with subpoena power, with forensic labs, with federal resources, haven't asked for it. She encouraged federal investigators to conduct their own analysis, saying the FBI's forensic tools could produce an even clearer version. She's not claiming to have all the answers. She's saying, look at this, use your equipment, your expertise, see what you find. But according to her, silence. And that silence is part of why this case has exploded on TikTok, why millions of people are listening, analyzing, demanding answers. Because when official channels move slowly, or not at all, people fill that void. Janetta Brantley did a masterful job cleaning up the audio in the distress call the people Nolan Wells was with on the boat that day. Someone yelling at Bart can be clearly heard. That's Bart Edmiston Jr., who is also from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. We are getting closer to justice for Nolan. Names. People in TikTok comments are identifying voices, cross-referencing with known friends who were there, building timelines. Is that helpful, or is it dangerous? Both. Probably both. But here's what's undeniable. The family believes something is wrong. His mother discovered suspicious gaps in his phone's records. While local law enforcement initially found no signs of foul play, an independent autopsy commissioned by the family remains undetermined, leaving questions about potential injuries or third-party involvement. An independent autopsy, because the family didn't trust the initial findings. An independent autopsy report found that the teenager's cause and manner of death were undetermined, pending investigation. But the doctor who performed the autopsy said in the report that he could not rule out foul play, according to the family's lawyer, Ben Crump. Could not rule out foul play. That's medical examiner language for, I don't know what happened here, and I can't say it was an accident. The independent autopsy also found red discoloration on the back of his head, an injury, the back of his head. And here's where the digital evidence becomes critical. Because without Nolan's phone, without his social media records, without GPS data showing where he actually was, when he was there, who he was communicating with, you can't reconstruct what happened. The family knows this. In filings submitted Tuesday in Jackson County Chancery Court, his mother, Christine Wells Wansley, represented by the Ridgeland-based firm Carol Bufkin, Pluk, demanded comprehensive digital records from 5 major tech platforms. The court orders command the companies to hand over all subscriber information, communication history, direct messages, photos, videos, and GPS location data linked to Wells's phone number and email. 5 platforms: Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta, Life 360. They're subpoenaing everything. Every message, every photo, every location ping. Under the terms of the subpoenas, the tech firms have 21 days to preserve and produce the requested electronic storage information. 21 days. That deadline matters, because according to the family's attorneys, data might already be gone. The latest filings follow a series of intent to sue letters Attorney Bufkin recently sent to Wells's friends, their families, local law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, the coroner's office, the state medical examiner's office, and others involved in the investigation. Those letters instructed recipients to preserve all evidence in their possession in its original, unaltered form. They also directed recipients to suspend any automatic deletion or overwrite functions that could erase potential evidence. Intent to sue. Everyone connected to this case. Preserve everything. Don't delete anything else. The implication is clear. The family believes evidence has already been destroyed. And social media sleuths, people like Janetta Brantley, are trying to recover what they can from what's publicly available. Think about the mechanics of that for a second. An audio file gets released by a state agency, the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. They put it out there as part of public record, probably thinking it shows nothing important. And a private citizen with professional skills downloads it, analyzes it, and potentially finds evidence that contradicts the official narrative. That's not conspiracy theorizing. That's digital forensics. The question is whether her findings are accurate. Texas audio engineer Janetta Brantley is standing firmly behind the enhanced version of the July 4th CTO emergency call that has gone viral online, despite a wave of accusations claiming the recording was manipulated with artificial intelligence. Brantley, who has 16 years of professional experience in audio engineering and post-production, told the outlet she enhanced the recording using traditional editing techniques, not AI. She's defending her work against claims that she used AI, that she fabricated sounds, that she's misleading people. She told Atlanta Black Star, "I fear nothing." She encouraged federal investigators to conduct their own analysis, saying the FBI's forensic tools could produce an even clearer version. I fear nothing. That's a strong statement. From someone who knows her work will be scrutinized, picked apart, potentially used in court. She's saying, check my work, I'll stand by it. But notice what's happening here. A civilian is doing forensic audio analysis on a case with potential criminal implications and posting it to Facebook, to TikTok, to millions of viewers. That's unprecedented in scale, not in concept. People have always discussed crimes, shared theories, looked at evidence, but the tools have changed. The reach has changed, and the speed has changed. Her enhancement circulated widely online and intensified questions about Wells's final hours. Within days, millions of views, thousands of comments, people claiming to hear specific phrases, specific names, specific admissions. Is that helping the investigation or hurting it? Here's the complexity. If Brantley's audio is accurate, if there are voices on that call that shouldn't be there, if someone's name is being said when the official story says he wasn't present, that's material evidence. That changes everything. But if the audio is misinterpreted, if people are hearing what they want to hear, if pattern recognition in human brains is finding words that aren't actually there, then it's creating false leads, harassing innocent people, muddying an already complicated case. Investigators are also poring over audio of a distressed phone call that one of Wells's friends made to a local towing company, reporting their boat was sinking and in need of assistance. Investigators are doing their own analysis of the call in order to determine whether there may be any further clues gleaned, according to officials. They're analyzing it, the official investigators, so they know it matters. The question we're sitting with today is this. In a case where the family believes evidence has been deleted, where the official autopsy results are sealed until a grand jury review, where local law enforcement initially said no foul play and the family had to commission their own independent examination, when institutions move slowly or opaquely, and technology makes evidence accessible to anyone with the right skills, who gets to investigate? Who gets to analyze? Who gets to decide what the public sees? I'll be back with more after this. But before we go further, a quick word. This channel exists to tell these stories with care, with precision, without jumping to conclusions. If you value that approach, if you want to keep seeing investigations that respect both the victims and the process, subscribe. Because cases like this don't end when the headlines fade. They end when there are real answers. And we'll be here for all of it. Now, let's talk about what happened after Brantley released that audio. Because what came next wasn't just social media buzz. It was organized investigation. People with different skills, different backgrounds, different areas of expertise, all converging on publicly available information. And they started finding things. The family's legal team has now issued intent to sue letters to Wells' friends, their families, local law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, the coroner's office, the state medical examiner's office, and others involved in the investigation. Everyone. Not just the friends who were on that boat, but their parents, the sheriff's department, the coroner, the medical examiner. That tells you something about where the family believes the failures occurred, not just in what happened that day, but in how it was handled afterward. Those letters instructed recipients to preserve all evidence in their possession in its original, unaltered form. They also directed recipients to suspend any automatic deletion or overwrite functions that could erase potential evidence. Think about that language. Suspend automatic deletion functions. That's lawyer speak for, we think you're still destroying evidence. We think it's happening right now. Stop. And here's where the TikTok investigation gets more complex. Because Janetta Brantley isn't the only one analyzing this case. There are dozens, maybe hundreds, of people going through every piece of publicly available data. Social media posts from July 4th. Who posted what, when, where. Photos that show who was wearing what. Videos that show who was where at what time. Comments that have since been deleted but were screenshot. Accounts that went private after Nolan went missing. This is open source intelligence, OSINT. The same techniques used by journalists, by human rights investigators, by law enforcement, but it's being done by regular people, with day jobs, with families, who are spending their nights combing through Instagram stories and Facebook check-ins and Snapchat maps. Is all of it accurate? No. Is some of it useful? Potentially. But there's a line, and it gets crossed constantly. The family expressed concern because his friends kept the teen's cell phone after he went missing. His phone. The single most important piece of evidence in any modern investigation. Location history, text messages, photos, deleted data. All of it was in the possession of people who were with him when he disappeared. For how long? We don't know. What happened to it during that time? We don't know. What data might have been accessed or deleted? We don't know. But the family knows the phone holds answers. In filings submitted Tuesday in Jackson County Chancery Court, his mother, Christine Wells Wansley, demanded comprehensive digital records from 5 major tech platforms. The court orders command the companies to hand over all subscriber information, communication history, direct messages, photos, videos, and GPS location data linked to Wells's phone number and email. 5 platforms. And they're going directly to the source. Not asking the friends for the data. Subpoenaing Snapchat, TikTok, Meta, WhatsApp, Life360. Because even if data was deleted from the phone itself, it might still exist on company servers. Snapchat messages that disappeared from the app, but are backed up in Snap's data centers. Location pings from Life360 that show exactly where everyone was. Instagram DMs that were deleted locally, but are preserved in Meta's archives. Under the terms of the subpoenas, the tech firms have 21 days to preserve and produce the requested electronic storage information. 21 days. The clock is running. And while the legal process moves forward, the online investigation continues. Here's what people on TikTok are saying they hear in Brantley's enhanced audio. Disclaimer: these are unverified claims. These are interpretations by people listening to a recording that's been filtered and enhanced, not tested in court, not verified by law enforcement. But they're worth noting because they're driving the conversation. Multiple listeners claim to hear the name Nolan. Some say they hear the phrase, "Where is he?" Others believe they hear someone saying, "Don't say that." There are claims of hearing, "He's not breathing," and allegedly, someone saying a specific name, telling someone to be quiet. Again, unverified. Human hearing is pattern-based. We find language in static, faces in clouds, meaning in chaos. That's called pareidolia. It's why 10 people can listen to the same garbled audio and hear 10 different things. But here's what makes this different. Janetta Brantley has 16 years of experience in sound and audio engineering and holds a bachelor's degree in music production from Full Sail University. She's not a random person with headphones. She's worked on series and films for Amazon Prime Video, Max, Hulu, Peacock, in addition to projects for WeTV, Snapchat, T-Mobile, Tubi, and Investigation Discovery. Professional credentials, professional equipment, professional techniques. She used Logic Pro X, Pro Tools, Adobe Audition, and Cubase to clarify the recording. She avoided artificial intelligence because it can introduce sounds that were never present. She did it the right way, the forensically defensible way, and she's offering to share her methodology with federal investigators. Her enhanced version of the Nolan Wells audio has been played on Nancy Grace and referenced in several news publications. It's not just viral on TikTok. Major media outlets are taking it seriously. Nancy Grace, a former prosecutor, someone who understands evidence, played it on her show. So this isn't fringe theory. This is mainstream conversation now. But, and this matters, Brantley said no public official has reached out to her. No contact from law enforcement. No request for her files. No interview about her methods. Nothing. Investigators are also poring over audio of a distressed phone call that one of Wells's friends made to a local towing company reporting their boat was sinking and in need of assistance. Investigators are doing their own analysis of the call in order to determine whether there may be any further clues gleaned, according to officials. So they're analyzing it, on their own, with their own tools, which is appropriate. That's how it should work. But the question remains, why not talk to someone who's already done extensive work on that exact file? Someone who might have insights, technical knowledge, a different approach. The cynic says, because she's not law enforcement, not official, not part of the system. The optimist says, because they want to do their own independent analysis without contamination. Both can be true. But to the family, to the millions watching online, the silence feels like dismissal, and that silence is fuel. Notice this. An independent autopsy report found that the teenager's cause and manner of death were undetermined, pending investigation. But the doctor who performed the autopsy said in the report that he could not rule out foul play, according to the family's lawyer, Ben Crump. Undetermined. Not accidental drowning. Not natural causes. Undetermined. And the independent examiner, a medical doctor with forensic training, could not rule out foul play. The independent autopsy also found red discoloration on the back of his head, an injury, visible, documented, photographed, on the back of his head. So you have, according to the family and their experts, a potential injury inconsistent with simple drowning. You have an autopsy that can't determine cause or manner of death. You have a phone that was in someone else's possession with suspicious gaps in data. You have enhanced audio that allegedly contains voices and phrases that contradict the official timeline. And you have a family that believes from day one that something was wrong. What you don't have is answers. Ben Crump, the family's attorney, is not a minor figure. He represented the families of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. He doesn't take cases lightly, and his involvement signals that this family has resources, legal firepower, national attention. The intent to sue letters, the subpoenas, the independent autopsy, the media strategy. This is not a family that's going to let this quietly disappear. And the TikTok investigators, people like Janetta Brantley, are part of that strategy whether officially or not. Because every viral video, every enhanced audio clip, every thread that gets millions of views keeps pressure on, keeps eyes watching, makes it harder for this to be closed as an accidental drowning and filed away. Now, let's be fair. We don't know what investigators have that hasn't been made public. We don't know what evidence they're building. We don't know what witnesses have said in formal interviews versus what they've posted on social media. Grand jury proceedings are secret, for good reason. Evidence in active investigations doesn't get released, for good reason. So it's entirely possible that law enforcement knows more than the family thinks they do. It's possible they're building a case methodically and carefully. It's possible the TikTok investigation, while well-intentioned, is missing crucial context that only investigators have. But here's the problem. When you have a case where, according to the family's attorney and independent experts, the official findings don't match the physical evidence, and when law enforcement initially said no signs of foul play, while an independent medical examiner says foul play cannot be ruled out, that gap erodes trust. And when trust erodes, people fill the void themselves. That's what's happening here. Her enhancement circulated widely online and intensified questions about Wells's final hours. Questions that might have been asked privately, in courtrooms, in grand jury rooms, are now being asked by millions of people, with audio tools, with photo analysis, with timeline reconstruction. Some of it's helpful. Some of it's noise. All of it's unstoppable. Because the tools are available, the platforms exist, and the will is there. What the family wants, according to their legal filings and public statements, is not a predetermined outcome. They want a thorough investigation. They want all the evidence, physical and digital, preserved and analyzed. They want transparency about what happened to their son. They want the people who were with him that day to be fully cooperative and truthful. And they want accountability if the evidence shows that his death was not an accident. That's not unreasonable. That's what any family would want. The legal status right now, as of this recording, no criminal charges have been filed. The case remains under investigation by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department with FBI assistance. Investigators are doing their own analysis of the call in order to determine whether there may be any further clues gleaned, according to officials. The tech company subpoenas are active, 21-day deadline. The independent autopsy findings are part of the family's civil case. The official autopsy, performed by the state medical examiner. Those results are sealed, pending the outcome of the investigation. So we're in legal limbo. Not enough for charges. Yet. But not closed either. And every day that passes without movement, the online investigation grows. What happens when a TikTok audio engineer does better work than the official investigation? Or appears to? What happens when families have to hire private forensic experts because they don't trust the government's findings? What happens when millions of people with smartphones and software start doing their own criminal investigations? We're finding out in real time, and Nolan Wells's case is the testing ground. Think about what that means for future cases. Every piece of evidence that becomes public, even accidentally, even through FOIA requests or court filings, will be downloaded, enhanced, analyzed, shared by people with real skills and people with no skills but strong opinions. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. The question is whether it serves justice or undermines it. Right now, in this case, the answer seems to be both. Janetta Brantley's work has created pressure, visibility, urgency. It's also created harassment, speculation, and potentially false leads. But she's standing by it. Texas audio engineer Janetta Brantley is standing firmly behind the enhanced version of the July 4th CTO emergency call that has gone viral online, despite a wave of accusations claiming the recording was manipulated with artificial intelligence. Brantley told the outlet she enhanced the recording using traditional editing techniques, not AI. She's transparent about her methods. She's willing to be scrutinized. She's not hiding behind anonymity or deleting her work when challenged. That matters. And she's not claiming to solve the case. She's saying, listen to this, you decide. Here's what we know for certain. Nolan Wells went to Horn Island on July 4th. He never came home. His body was found days later. The official cause of death initially suggested accidental drowning with no signs of foul play. The family disagreed and commissioned an independent autopsy. That autopsy found his death undetermined and could not rule out foul play. The family believes evidence was mishandled or destroyed. They're subpoenaing digital records from 5 major tech platforms. An audio engineer enhanced a publicly available emergency call and believes it contains evidence that contradicts the official timeline. That enhancement went viral and has been covered by major media outlets. Law enforcement is conducting their own audio analysis, but has not publicly addressed the enhanced version. And millions of people online are watching, listening, analyzing, demanding answers. Everything else, right now, is interpretation. What we're sitting with, 8 months after Nolan Wells died, is a question that refuses to close. Was this a tragic accident? A young man who drowned while his friends tried to get help? Or was this something else? Something that people tried to cover up? Something that left digital traces they couldn't fully erase? The evidence that would answer that question definitively: Nolan's phone data, the official autopsy, witness testimony, forensic analysis of that audio. It's either locked away in investigations, or it's been deleted, or it's being fought over in court. And while institutions move at institutional speed, people like Janetta Brantley are moving at internet speed. Whether that helps or hurts, time will tell. But one thing is clear: this case will not be forgotten. It will not be quietly filed away, because Nolan Wells's family won't let it, and because millions of people online, with skills and software and stubborn determination, won't let it either. His mother said in a statement, "We just want the truth. Whatever that truth is, we want to know what happened to our son." That's not a call for vengeance. That's a call for answers. And in 2026, with technology that can pull voices out of static, and platforms that can amplify a single TikTok video to millions of viewers in hours, answers are harder to bury than they used to be. For better and worse, we'll keep following this case until there are real answers. Until the grand jury makes a decision. Until the tech companies turn over that data. Until we know what investigators found in their own audio analysis. And until the family gets what they're asking for: the truth. If this case affected you, if you think Janetta Brantley's work matters, if you believe families deserve thorough investigations when their children die under suspicious circumstances, subscribe, because cases like this don't end when the news cycle moves on. They end when there's justice, or when there's closure. And right now, the Wells family has neither. Leave a comment, now that you've heard about the enhanced audio, about the gaps in the phone data, about the independent autopsy findings. What stands out to you most? Is it the fact that no officials contacted the audio engineer? Is it the injury on the back of his head? Is it the phone staying with friends instead of going to investigators? Tell me what you're thinking, because this conversation, this investigation, it's not just happening in courtrooms and police stations anymore. It's happening everywhere, and everyone's listening.